Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Gamers, and Friends Play Dungeons & Dragons, Hoard of the Dragon Queen. Today we will continue where we left off last week, with the players wandering through the town of El Truel, as they are in pursuit of the Dragon Cult. So last week, you guys toured the town, you talked to some people, you made some deals, you then spent the night in the inn. Is there anything you guys would like to do this morning before you go and visit with Mr. Froome?
Okay, I'll just jump in there. I'll go check on the leather worker and the swords.
Okay. So last night, I guess, technically, you had met with the leather worker, and he said that he could either cure your hides over the course of weeks, or he had a friend that would do it at a bit higher of a price. But it could be done very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So as you walk in, there's a little ding of the door. The guy's just like, "Oh, yes, friend. What have you decided? How may I be of service to you?"
Oh, well, I'm jumping back there. I had dropped the hides off last night, so are my hides ready?
Yes, well, you desired the magical treatment, correct?
Correct.
And I guess technically I don't think he specified it was magic. It was just heavily insinuated.
Yes.
So
a friend could make it go faster.
Yes. So he's like, yes, I called upon my friend, and we managed to, through means of his own devising, get your hides ready. But I believe, as I mentioned, and he kind of like shows you to where they are. And they're this fancy, like dark reptilian kind of look to it. And he's like, I have not yet finished molding the armor. I need to take a few more measurements, if I may.
Certainly.
But the armor could be ready within a fortnight. Not fortnight. What's like one day?
Yeah.
Like, fortnight? I don't want to wait that long.
What the heck?
Yeah. Well, he's like, if you would like, I could expedite the process for a bit more gold, and it could be ready by tomorrow.
Well, quick question for you. I mean, I did bring you 5 whole drakeskin hides. Was there any left over, or is it all going into this one suit?
A man of your build and your stature, it'll probably take 3 of the 5. All right. Is there something in mind you have for the other 2?
Would you perhaps be able to make a small size version of it at the same time?
Like a miniature version of you, are you saying? Or
yes.
I suppose it could be done. Do you have measurements I could use, or just downscale? What do you have in mind?
Hold that thought. I run, I find Twidget, and I start dragging him back, but I'm not going to give him any explanation of what's going on.
All right. So when you find Twidget looks super tired. Fancy. That's fancy.
That's nice.
So, I mean, you find Twidget, he's super tired. It appears he didn't get much sleep the night before. So he can't put up a super fight. And he's tiny, so...
Good.
You just sort of throw me over your shoulder, and I'm like...
He's a fireman carries you to the armor.
That works for me.
He smells like, stale ale. He's been drinking a bit last night.
Some things don't change.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you get back to the armor, and he's like, is this the miniature suit that I need to be designing for?
I'll look at Twidget. Are you going to take that from me? He said miniature. I don't think you're
I go, yeah, the luck of the Irish.
Some things don't change. Yes, this would be the... if there is enough left over, my small friend here could potentially make use of the extras.
Yep.
Roll for initiative.
You are fighting yourself now.
I'm fighting from throwing up from all the beer from last night.
Yeah. And so he's like, I believe we could make a suit of studded leather for this man at that price.
Excellent.
We have enough stuff left over.
Well, you mentioned
if
the
that
P
works
word.
for the 2 of you.
What are we talking for price then?
Well, there is the expedited curing price that you incurred yesterday, and then the custom-made suit. So, I mean, we're looking at about say 75 for yours, and how does 65 for the smaller suit sound?
Well, look at Twidget. That good by you?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. 75 and 65 it is.
All right. And so he gladly says, if you can either pay up front or you can pay upon delivery. They should be ready by the end of the day tomorrow.
Excellent. I will bring my pocketbook then.
All right. Is there anything else I can do for the two of you?
Twitch?
No.
Alrighty.
All right.
That's it for me. I think Keithan was actually going to go check on the swords.
Yep. So he goes to the weaponsmith. The previous afternoon, you guys had discussed creating some special blades.
Yep.
So as you arrive, he just welcomes. He's like, welcome back, friend. How does this morning find you?
Somebody talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
I have not actually met him yet.
Oh, true. Aranor went on your behalf, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess as you walk in, he'd just be like, he'd still call you friend because he's a nice shopkeeper. So, like, good morning, friend. How may I be of service to you this fine day?
I had a compatriot of mine come in last night and ask about some special short swords.
Yes. He kind of glances around trying to think of a way to describe them. And he's just like, the barbed, hooked swords, if I may call them that.
Yeah, sort of like the harpoon sword.
Yep. Yes, we discussed creating such blades as these. We had not managed, we did not come to a price or anything in that regard. Could I perhaps show you my wares and we could discuss that?
Sure, by all means.
So he kind of takes you out back to where he has kind of his smithery set up. And he's kind of showing you a few different blades. And he's like, as I understood your friend, he was saying, we could take a few short swords. Was that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yep, and he kind of takes a sword that he has had set aside, and you notice it's a normal sword, and he just kind of like somehow marked in black parts that he would remove. And he's like, we discussed, I could cut these parts off of one of these blades and sharpen them for you, making them harder to withdraw upon entry. And he kind of the sword he shows you looks awfully a lot like this drawing of a sword on Roll20, which, okay, no, I can't move that over there. And he's like, perhaps, how many of these would you like?
I would like to get 5.
5? Tell you what, friend, since I would have to be altering them, that's extra labor on my part, would 12 gold per sword, does that sound sufficient to you? 60 gold total?
I think that is a sufficient price.
Okay. I could have those ready for you by the end of the day today.
That would work actually quite well. And I also had another inquiry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for a heavy crossbow. Do you by chance have one?
You have come to the right place. And he kind of leads you away from where all the swords and all the tools for that are. And there's kind of a cabinet on the side, and he kind of opens it up, and you see a bunch of like long bows, short bows, crossbows, kind of hanging inside. And he's just like, do any of these strike your fancy? And you see 2 heavy crossbows inside of the...
I'll grab the heavy crossbow and tell him this one looks quite sturdy.
Mm-hmm. It's a very solid bow, I can guarantee. Shoots quite accurately if you have the abilities. 50 gold, if you're interested. I'll even throw in 20 bolts.
Deal.
Yeah. And so
I can't pass that up.
Yeah. So he kind of reaches out, pulls 20 bolts from laying at the base. He's thinking, if you want more, I sell them for a gold a bundle if you ever need additional bolts.
I will definitely be back. Actually, I might as well go ahead and get 30 of those now.
Okay. So 30 bolts, that would be...
what did bolts come in? 20s?
Yeah.
Let's do 60.
Okay. So he's like, okay, that'll be 3 gold for the Well, is it 60 in addition to the 20 I offered you, or 60 total?
60 total. So.
Okay, so 2 gold for the extra 40. And he has, like, they kind of come in like a little, not like a super fancy quiver, but kind of like a cloth holder. So, I mean, you're capable of carrying them in that if you so desire.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you need while you're here?
No, that is actually everything.
All right. Well, tell your friends to stop by if they need any arms or armaments. I'm gladly to supply any and everything the adventurer needs to stay alive in the wild. He kind of smiles and his teeth ting.
I'll smile back and say I may return yet.
Okay. In a second, I will have those swords ready for you by the end of the day.
Fair enough. I shall see you this evening.
Yep. And is there anything else you guys want to do before you go visit with Froome?
I want to stop by a carpenter.
Okay. So,
and I'm just going to ask him to make some signs for me.
Yep. And he's like, oh yeah, I can easily make signs, not difficult at all. Throw a few boards together. I can even carve whatever you desire in at a reasonable price. And he's like, I have. This is not my normal business by any means. I've made a few signs for the local bars and taverns, and I tend to charge, anywhere from 5 to 15 gold based on how fancy of work you need done.
So I'll provide him with the sketches of the signs I have.
Yep. And he's kind of looking at it, and he's just like, "Yep, there's some carvings, some minor burning that'll need to be done, but give me a day and say 15 gold, and I can have the 2 of them ready for you."
That sounds fair. I will stop by tomorrow morning.
All right, sounds fantastic. And you see him kind of take out a book and write some numbers down.
Okay.
I give the man a pint of our freshest beer and our freshest jerky and say, "May this inspire you, sir."
It's like this is the true KT brew and the true KT jerky. I will use it as inspiration as I work on the signs. And he kind of takes a bite and has an odd look, like, this stuff sells, really? But he doesn't say anything.
By fresh, he means it hasn't been made into jerky yet.
It's technically sushi.
Oh. Dude, kobold sushi, man. That stuff's hot demand in the right places of Waterdeep.
Mm-hmm.
More like sashimi.
Truth. This kid knows his raw food. Alright, is there anything else you guys desire to do while you're out and about in Elturwell?
Nope.
Alright. So are you all ready to go and visit Froome?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Mm-hmm.
So about midday, Keithan, he's able to show you the way to where he had met the Order of the Gauntlet folk the day before. And you kind of approach the inn, and before you even arrive, the door opens, and a young lad comes running out to you guys with a broad grin. And he's just like, welcome. I am Simon. I am Froome's squire at hand. May I have the pleasure of showing you to his office?
Yes, by all means.
Yeah. All right. So the young lad, you'd wager about 14 or 15 years old. He kind of leads you into the tavern, through the common room to a side door, which he opens and kind of like points you in, following the 4 of you in and shutting the door behind him. Inside the room, you see a broad-shouldered human paladin, as well as the monk Leosin, who you had met in Greenest. And on a table in front of them, you see a couple pictures of a dark red wine, as well as a few goblets. The paladin himself is sitting with a fairly serious expression, clearly ready to discuss business. My friends, he says as you approach, we have important business to discuss this morning. You know about as much as we do, and that is hopefully to change soon. We know twice as much today as we did a 10-day ago. Something rotten is afoot, and we have no formal organization to oppose these cult rascals. Not yet, anyway. We're still at work on that, and we need people like you who know how, when, and where to fight, and how and when to keep their heads down and just to observe. We can't promise you anything except long days, danger, and stress. But what's better than that, am I right? A small grin spreads across his face as he motions for each of you to sit, and he starts filling each of the goblets with wine.
As he pulls out or fills the goblets, I'll pull out small sampling bottles of KT brew and start placing them next to them all.
I'll take the goblet.
Yep. May I inquire about these vials? He asks as he kind of takes it up and starts looking at it.
KT brew. We're trying to get our name out.
I see.
New business enterprise.
Okay. He kind of takes a small sip, swishes it about a bit, and he goes, I mean, it's not top of the shelf by any means, but it's better than some of the ales that we have sitting on our shelves that people tend to enjoy. Mayhaps if this all pans out, we could carry some of this brew in our very own tavern.
We would be happy to supply that. Our demographic is the above piss and below elf class, so it's quite a wide range.
There's definitely a market for it.
Yeah.
So he kind of looks at Twidget and he's like, so I'm guessing better than your average brew, but not quite up to par of your elven friend here.
Essentially, yes. And
I take the goblet again.
I tell him it pairs quite nicely with my colleague's jerky business that he has going.
Would you care for a sample?
What kind of jerky is it, if I may ask?
Oh, it's delightful. But I don't want to ruin the surprise. I hand him a handful. It's kind of sticking to my palm.
He takes a piece gingerly as he watches the appalled expression on your elven friend's face.
I'll also take a piece and pop it in like Skittles.
Nice. While that's going on, I pour the goblet of wine, or one of them, into my empty beer mug, and then I put the goblet in my pocket and drink out of the mug.
All right. He doesn't seem to notice or care, one of the two, as he takes a small bite of the jerky and just starts chewing and chewing and chewing. And kind of this odd look over his face before finally, there's takes his goblet and takes a deep swig and a long swallow, and he's just like, well, the brew is better than the jerky. But that's just one man's opinion.
But it makes it go down, doesn't it?
It definitely helps it down. It helps.
Like I said, they are quite the pair.
And he goes, but anyways, friends, enough talking about brewery and jerky. We called you here, I'm sure, as you no doubt are aware, thanks to your aid with my fellow Leosin. Is it by chance accurate in saying you are interested in the ongoings of the Cult of the Dragon?
Quite.
We've killed a few.
I know not what all they are about. Leosin has informed us greatly over our meetings this previous night. But what we request of you is potentially hazardous. I guess the only way to word it is, are you willing to risk your very lives for the hope of saving the world?
Quite.
And as he
Not
says
like we
this,
haven't before.
he kind of like tries to make himself like even bigger and brawnier than he is.
I tell him, was like, I eat this jerky every day.
Mm-hmm.
My life is obviously in peril already. So what more is such a small task?
I tell him that my business depends on killing more of them.
He kind of looks at you puzzled. I'm going to choose not to follow up on that statement. However, I must inform you of some things we learned just the other day. To our understanding, the Cult of the Dragon was very active in the past, but up until recently it has not spread this far to the west, and it concerns us as well that they went from merely converting Draco Liches into now attempting to work with live dragons. Have you heard or seen any rumblings about such progress?
Working with live dragons. Yes.
What's a Draco Lich?
A Dracolich?
Yes.
It is the attempt to essentially imagine a re-embodiment of a dragon. And you can tell as he's trying to explain it, he doesn't want to like go into super detail. And finally he's like, think zombie dragon.
Okay.
But not a zombie dragon. But a dead dragon that it's reanimated.
I start doing the theme to Thriller on my kazoo.
And as he's saying this, you kind of see like Leosin kind of like embarrassed at his friend's attempt to explain things, clearly well beyond the paladin's understanding. He's much more a man of action than a man of understanding. And he's like, but our understanding is that the cult is seeking something to do with Tiamat, the Queen of Dragons. We do not understand what their goal is. We do not believe it in anyone's best interest for them to succeed. But we are still in the phase of seeking to understand their means more so than their goals.
What do you have for us, boss?
Yeah. He's like, well, there is an alliance being made in the hopes of preventing the cult from achieving their means between a few of the local guilds of the realm. I personally, and on his armor, you notice that that there is a kind of like a palm symbol on his breastplate. He's like, I myself am a ranking member in the Order of the Gauntlet, and our friend Leosin here is part of the group known as the Harpers. And then there is a third faction that has been aiding us, the Emerald Enclave. You may or may not have heard of them. Very, very nature-ish people.
I know of them.
Okay. But
Nerds.
But we three factions are at work to put an end to these cultists. If you are willing to give us your aid, we think we could find a way to embed you with their troop traveling to the north.
Ooh, this would seem like a good time to pull from one of our bags. We might have a leg up in that area. And I'll pull out, let's see, we've got some dragon regalia, some dragon scabbards, and a purple robe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask, like, how far north are you expecting?
He's like, well, and he kind of like looks around in various drawers, and he finally pulls out a map, and he's like, we here are in El Truel, and he points to an area in kind of like the south central region of this section of the world. And he's like, we believe that if we travel west to the coast, to Baldur's Gate, they'll be taking the tradeway up north to Waterdeep. We believe perhaps we could get you guys embedded with the merchant caravan on that journey.
So not all the way up to Neverwinter, then.
No, just to Baldur's Gate.
Okay. That might prove difficult if it was. So, I'm all for it.
Okay. Is this something the rest of you would be willing to embrace as well?
I'm all over this. If the Emerald Enclave is involved, I'm even more interested.
Okay.
If the Harpers are involved, I'm interested.
And you,
These
Elvin?
There's
guys
killing
are-
and
I
all.
guess I'm going too.
All right.
Well, we will be honored to have you amongst our number. We shall be setting out in 2 days' time to head for Baldur's Gate. It should take us no more than a few days to arrive. And from Baldur's Gate, it will be a 2-month journey north to... where did I say you guys are going? Waterdeep. So he's like, we're looking at a few months involvement. But we believe that once at Baldur's Gate, we can get you hired on as guards. Many merchants travel in a large group, believing there is safety in numbers. So we could either get you guys involved either as merchants or guards, or perhaps even part of one of the cults, if you so are willing to take that risk.
Brian, I may have missed it in the exchange or whatnot. And when did he say he wanted to take off?
In about 2 days.
Okay.
So in 2 days, you would head to Baldur's Gate, which will take you about 5 days, if you move at a fast pace. I am looking at the wrong page. So is there any further questions you have of us at this moment in time?
I want to figure out who the blacksmith in the background is. Someone's using a grinding wheel.
That's the guy working on your armor, actually.
I figured it was either that or maybe Eric's PC.
No, he's... I don't hear it in person here, so... Oh, hard drive.
Oh.
Snap. Aranor knowing his technology.
Yep. Hey, just because I was born in the barn, raised in the barn, and pretty much never left the barn, doesn't mean I don't know how to use Linux.
Is it perhaps when I get close to my mic like this?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I won't do that anymore then.
So minor feedback. All right, now that issue is solved.
Yep. Sorry.
50 experience all
mysteries.
around for solving a mystery.
Woohoo!
Joke, don't write it down. All right, so is there anything else you guys wish to do outside of collecting your weapons and armor before you guys depart in a couple days?
Nope.
He said merchants, guards, or what was the third thing you said, Brian?
Either like merchants, guards, or trying to embed yourselves within the cult itself.
Ah.
I'll go for the guard.
I'll ask him, is there a representative of the Emerald Enclave that I can speak with?
He's like, there is not one here at this outpost. Likely when you arrive at Baldur's Gate, there will be one there.
Okay. I guess I can't think of anything else.
Let's rock.
All right.
We should all definitely work on our cover stories ahead of time.
Where it is
Fair enough. I could be your fellow merchant. That could be quite entertaining.
I'll just be a guard.
We'd
We
be like the
already have a cover.
we'd be like the Penn and Teller of merchantry.
Yeah, but you never shut up.
Oh, snap!
Yep. All right. So I mean, as you guys then, presuming you don't have anything else to do in town. I mean, Aranor and Twidget, you could go pick up your armor.
Woohoo!
And it was 65 and 75 gold for the pair. You guys can decide how you choose to split that cost.
I'll pay for mine.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll pay
Did
for
we ever
mine.
were we ever offered anything for going into the cave?
What did Leosin tell you? Yep, he offered you each 150 gold apiece.
Oh, so
Do we get to claim that?
So I mean, if at any point you guys recalled that, you could be like, "Hey, remember that one time you said you were gonna give us money?" And he'd be like, "Oh yes, yeah," and he'd pull it out and give it to you guys.
okay.
I will recall that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess technically you just did. So.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go back to the weaponsmith and buy that other crossbow.
Okay. So you're cleaning him out.
And I'm going to go find a carpenter or somebody to make like a pole for the wagon and the crossbow, because I want mounted crossbows on the wagon.
Whoa.
So I mean, would you just like take the wagon to, say, the craftsman with the signs, and just be like, "Hey, is there a way you could mount these on here?"
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Okay. So I mean, yeah, if like that guy, after having already done some business with you, he's kind of looking at it, and he's like, "Well, if you leave the cart here overnight, I could probably build something that could mount these on the sides, if that's what you desire."
Yeah, that's fine. I would prefer the left and right side at the moment.
Okay.
Eventually, more will be added.
Mm-hmm. Would 20 gold be sufficient?
How about 15?
And he kind of looks at it and he's like, it's a challenge I do desire to attempt, so 15 will suffice.
Sounds good to me.
And you can tell he kind of has this like youthful glee at the idea of trying to build this.
I'll leave a couple bolts for him to test with,
Okay.
too.
Yeah. And like as you leave, you hear him like trying to come up with names for this. He seems to like the idea of warthog. So yeah. So before you guys leave, you're able to get the crossbows mounted on your cart. It's kind of a tight fit if you were to try to have one person manning each crossbow with the egg also in the cart.
Yeah.
The not an egg.
Yeah, or sorry, the not an egg, the giant rock.
It's more like a seat at the moment, or our table for the traveling brewer.
Yeah,
The definitely not a dragon egg.
definitely yes.
Not a dragon egg.
Yeah.
I whisper to Keithan, is it maybe a bad idea to be trying to blend in with the Cult of the Dragon with a dragon egg in tow?
We'll sell it in Baldur's Gate. There's plenty of wizards there.
Okay.
Maybe we can unload it now. I'll go back to Froome and Leosin and ask them, like, so we may have come across an item that is quite unique.
Like an enchanted magical item.
You could say that.
It's not enchanted.
It's not enchanted, but it is a magical beast per se.
The two of them look at each other quizzically. Mayhaps if you show us this item in question.
Fair enough. I will lead them off to the barn where I have stored the egg
Okay.
and show them the egg with the fancy coloring and a rabbit made out of straw and cobalt jerky.
Yeah. So I mean, just like looking at the egg, or sorry, the definitely not a dragon egg. Froome, he just kind of sees it and he's like, "What is this?" And Leosin almost at once, it's just like, "Where did you find a dragon egg?" At which point Froome is just kind of like aghastly and confused.
I may have acquired it and wanted to use it as a mount, but it has been pointed out to me that that may not be the best thing to have in possession when trying to possibly join the Cult of the Dragon, considering it was their egg before and we may have stolen.
Well, first off, I would not recommend trying to mount a dragon. Second off, I would not recommend bringing dragons or dragon eggs near the Cult of Dragons. I feel you.
And why we are talking now.
Yes. How about you leave the egg in our care, and we will do some research on it. We will gauge its usefulness or lack thereof, and deal with it in kind.
And if you can train it to be friendly, I would like to adopt it at a future date.
If we find some archaic manuscripts on how to train your dragon, or maybe a sequel to said manuscripts on how to train your dragon too, then mayhaps there will be a way, but I would not be surprised if it gets too big and must be, for lack of a better word, put down.
Might I
You're gonna say
also
mean things to it?
have a request? Might I have a request that you name him Toothless should it hatch?
Where you would get such an obscure idea is beyond me, but we will
It's irony because the dragon has lots of teeth.
we will take your requests in kind.
Excellent.
I'll also hand him a piece of paper that I have hastily scribbled on that says, Step 1 to training dragon, feed dragon. Step 2, play with dragon. Step 3, don't piss off dragon.
Step 4, take away food until dragon does something correct and then give food back.
No. It's pretty much.
That breaks step 3.
Yep.
And as I walk by, I say, please destroy this abomination.
Froome just kind of winks at that. And he's like, we will see what it takes to potentially get a dragon as an ally. You can see doubt written all over his face. Whereas Leosin seems a bit more excited.
Of course he is.
Yeah. So without the giant, definitely not a dragon egg. You can fit 2 people. I mean, it's not, like, I have a ton of room, but 2 people can sit there and kind of... He built it with about, a 60-degree rotation on the 2 sides for the crossbow turrets. So are you guys prepared to set off for Baldur's Gate?
Yep, so we got our armor. Did he have any special care instructions?
As far as for the fancy studded leather?
Yeah, it's drakeskin. You never know. I might need to treat it twice a week with special
Well, I
oil.
mean, he gave you some drakeskin oil, but he's like, after treating it, about twice a day for a week, it should be fine. It'll have absorbed all the properties. If you don't treat it properly, it may or may not start to go rancid. You never know when magic is involved in the curing process. Sorry, not magic.
Not magic.
Additional means.
The Gathering.
As he gives it to us, or rather afterwards, I'll ritualize a detect magic.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can see any remnants of the magic that they used.
Yeah. I mean, there's a faint amount of some kind of, like, almost alchemical stuff going on. You're guessing it was some form of fancy potions, potentially enchanted potions that were used in the curing process.
Mm-hmm.
Probably something that would be frowned upon by, like, a federal health inspection.
Great.
It wouldn't be FDA approved. Not saying that it's bad. It's just, not something that they would recommend, like licking frequently.
Has not been clinically tested.
Yes.
Very nice.
So, I mean, I wouldn't recommend chewing on it. Let me know if you do, so I can make you do a constitution check.
Well, this will be perfect for a double-blind study. We have 2 here, so...
One of us will chew on it randomly. It might be the one that thinks it's jerky.
All right, so are you guys ready to head to Baldur's Gate?
Yep.
Yes.
So I got one of those
Yes.
studded leather things.
Yep.
What were the AC stats on that?
Ace AC of 12.
Plus Dex, I
Not
believe.
sucky.
It's
What
12
was
plus Dex.
12 plus dex. Okay.
Weight of 13 pounds.
Okay. Is that the same as my standard
Yes.
studded leather?
It's just
It
like
is.
standard studded leather, only it looks a lot cooler. And
Alright.
there is no metal on it. It's actually using drake, teeth, and bone and stuff. So let's say you have something that says you can't cast or something with metal, you're not wearing metal.
I gotcha.
And you just look cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
fair
it's-
enough.
It's green with white teeth.
In that case, who in our group doesn't have studded leather?
Me.
Who needs studded leather in our group and doesn't have it? Okay.
Aaron,
Well,
you have studded leather?
Gallinaeus has studded leather.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'd like to sell this shopkeeper my studded leather existing
Yep.
thing.
He kind of looks it over and he's like, 35 gold.
Not bad.
Is it?
You
I don't know.
paid 45.
Oh, okay. Then sure.
Frankly, the
I'll
fact that
sell
he's
it
giving
to
me
ya.
money for it at all is impressive.
So I mean, it's about 75% cost.
Mm-hmm. All right, it's yours.
And he takes it. He's kind of like, a bit of cleaning. I bet I can sell this off. It's lightly worn. Probably get 42 gold out of it.
I nod to it and I say, "Mind the pit stains."
He
And
kind
of
of
course,
checks and he's
Of
like,
course it
I've seen worse.
Of course, it was lightly worn. He's a Lightfoot halfling.
Heyo!
eh,
Alright, so you guys hop on the road to Baldur's Gate. And let's see what happens.
I think I've played this game before. We get attacked by gnolls or something like that 4 or 5 times.
Shockingly? Come on, I just want 117 or higher. That's all I want. Alright, something
Dragon.
happens. I'm looking at the wrong page.
Nothing happens.
I roll a d12, that's what happens.
On rolls between 1 and 12, we get Loot Parade. Yay!
We get a hashtag.
You get I forgot to program a d12 macro.
So, Brian, do your rolls get hidden by default? Or do you have to do like GM roll?
It's GM roll,
Oh, jeez, that sucks.
but my macros, I macroed with GM roll.
So,
like, to GM roll a d20, I type hashtag 20.
cool.
So, okay, so yeah, so as you guys are on your way to Baldur's Gate, you're about the last day out, and as you are traveling, you see. Dun, 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 dun.
Da, 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 da. Dee, da, da, da.
Let's see, you're here, and you're here. Move these guys because they're not here.
Oh, they're here, all right.
Throw this up here.
I also have my wagon.
And your horse.
You can
Well, we all
remove
have
all
those.
those images.
Yeah. Okay, so as you guys are going down the road, just kind of minding your own business,
Keaton's in front.
you can actually set up how you guys set yourselves in the order that you would be traveling.
Are we going up or
So yeah,
down?
you're heading up to the north.
Cory, we're going
Technically
north.
up is west,
Sorry.
but I don't feel like drawing a new map. So is that about the order you think you guys would be going?
Do you want to be in the front, Jonas?
Sure.
He can be scouting your way.
Operation Flashlight.
Oh, I still haven't shared that with Aaron yet.
No.
Fireball in the sky.
Turns out it's just produced flame.
You remember the typo on that, right?
I remember a few typos in your section.
Ayo.
No, that's not even a AO.
Yeah, he's been heavily drinking, so.
I put the typos in there.
Mm-hmm. You and Vendetta both.
Yep.
Huh. I feel like we're surrounded.
Yep, so I mean, you guys are just minding your own business, and all of a sudden, like, 5 bandits just kind of appear fairly what seems like out of nowhere.
It's a trap!
And the lead bandit is just like, "Whoa, merchants! Set down your wares. You can tell your guards to stand down. And we can discuss your tax like reasonable men."
Do I see any
Where are
Thieves
these
Guild,
5
Thieves
thieves?
Cant stuff?
Do I have you guys on? It should be bottom left.
Mm-hmm. Any sort of Thieves Cant or markings of the mist or anything?
No, these men just seem to be random locals who like
Alright.
to give passing merchants the
Random
shakedown.
muggers.
All right.
Shame.
Well,
How do you respond to their requests?
I roll for initiative.
I'll grab my lance and say, what kind of tax are you meaning?
This is our road, and merchants must pay a meager sum of 10 gold per head to use our road.
where's your sign?
But
Yeah.
we don't need a sign.
Well,
Where's your sign?
Which government are you affiliated with?
We're
If you have a toll, you have to be some kind of a government affiliated to pay for the road.
Some form of agency, at least.
Exactly.
one of the rear guards over this side is just like, "Don't listen to them, Seabass! They're full of junk!
Where's your Form 1090C?
They're making up fancy words!"
I pull out my cartographer's book and was like, you've already violated 6 different laws here in the region by stopping us without having all the proper authorization.
The guy in the front is getting like clearly more and more upset. The guy in the back, he's just like, "Seabass! They're making stuff up! Just get the money or let's take it by force!"
No,
I apologize and
government
move one
official-
step to my right. I am now off of your road. I am going on my way.
I'm
This guy over here is just like, "We ain't taking none of this crap from you. Come on, Seabass, let's get him."
Shut up, Scooter, and I'm going to talk as like, Seabass. What kind of government official name is Seabass? That is a horrible name. Why aren't you like Steve Bridges or something? Come on.
At this point,
Bridges.
At this point, Seabass draws his he kind of like pulls a spear out, and he's just like, Well, it seems like we're going to have to take it by force. So everyone roll some initiative.
Is that Southern British?
So, Brian?
You've never seen the Southern British people?
Brian?
I think that's Welsh.
While he starts to sound like he's about to say, we'll have you taken by force, was that about 6 seconds?
That would probably be about 6 seconds, yes.
Okay, as soon as he starts to sound like our charade's up, I'm trying to preempt the initiative order, and I'm going to wild shape.
Okay.
Form of mop bucket.
Form of, gotta figure it out. What does Gabe want to be tonight?
I'm assuming Operation Shape Up or Suit Up.
I
We
like
can
that you
certainly
have
go that way.
names for your operations.
I'm
What?
fine with suit up.
Okay.
Suit up works for me. It was either that or I was just gonna, I don't know, do something different.
Suit Up.
Suit up. Okay. Big horse. I suppose I should actually roll initiative too.
Oops.
Enish. Aaron rolls the right die.
Do 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 do. Aaron. Do 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 do.
Is
The
this your
right
horse?
die.
Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
little frilly for what I expect my horse to be like, but yes.
Well, for what it's worth, one of you guys picked it.
I believe
have-
that. Yeah, that was Cory.
I have a couple others I can choose from.
Alright, so ascending. I'm at descending. Alright, so at this point we enter initiative order, and Aranor, you are up first.